No more predictions, no more analysis. The regular season is finally here. The Arizona Cardinals kick off 2025 here in the Big Easy against the New Orleans Saints. Should the Redbirds be on upset alert, or should they win handily, Johnny Venerable?
It's time for the Arizona Cardinals to assert themselves as a true playoff contender. We're live from Louisiana, downtown on Bourbon Street. Brack, Johnny Venerable, PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in live from downtown Louisiana, New Orleans, on Bourbon Street at the Copacabana. I'm Johnny Venerable, he's Brack. It's PHNX Cardinals pregame show as the Arizona Cardinals take on Spencer Rattlers. Geez, New Orleans Saints. We are brought to you by our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. But today is about the Arizona Cardinals both kicking off 2025.
They are with expectations, right? You can say rebuild in the rearview mirror, and you need to see a team that's going to come to ready, kick off the 2025 season with style against an undermanned opponent, to say the least. When we look at all the projections going into this year, you've got the Cardinals somewhere where they finished last year. A lot of people kind of coming around on them, realizing that Jonathan Gannon, Monty Osborne have something brewing here in the desert. And then you have a lot of people, I think the consensus on the Saints team, they're down on them. Really looked as far as one of the worst teams in the NFL. Arizona Cardinals need to play bully today here just down the street at the Caesars Superdome.
This Saints team reminds me so much of what the Cardinals did 2 years ago, but the difference is, and Bo, you've mentioned this to me off air, it's like the Cardinals knew what they were doing. They were tearing it down. There are still skeptics here in New Orleans that feel like the Saints are kind of trying to compete, but maybe not, right? The kind of additions they made via the draft, the kind of lackluster aggressiveness that they took to choose at the quarterback position, the Cardinals are going to benefit from that today, because you either have to be all the way in or all the way out, right? And I just don't think the Saints are a very good football team. They're missing Trevor Penning. He's out today. They're missing Chase Young. He's out today. I mean, we talk about it. No excuses for the Arizona Cardinals. This has to be a game where you and Kyler Murray as a collective, if you're Jonathan Gannon, get together and say, like, we're going to put the NFL on notice today. Yeah. Nobody's paying attention to this game nationally. It's not on Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. We're going to go into New Orleans, and we're going to hang a crooked number on a team that has no business competing with us. That's what it has to be. And, yes, this season is going to be predicated on how do you do in your division and against winning teams. But I'm sorry. You can go into week one and boat race a bad Saints team and tell the rest of the NFL, like, hey, schedule this on your calendar, circle us, because we're coming to whoop your ass in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a statement one of two ways. Like, you can come in and you can bully them around and you can show you've got the best roster between the two, no questions asked. Or, you know, you could become the talk of the league as far as the bad side of things. Yeah. And say, how do you lose to that Saints team? I thought things were, you know, trending up as far as Arizona goes. So those are that's how it goes down as far as Kyler Murray, Jonathan Gannon. You know, they can't suffer, I think, a letdown. I think that would just be deflating to, you know, potential momentum. I know it's a coaching staff that doesn't believe in it, but if you believe in it, I think that he can be kicked off here short with the Arizona Cardinals with a solid win over the Saints. Like, when you look at this and what the Saints don't have on their roster, the Cardinals losing this game would be a product most likely of them losing the game more so than the Saints going and outright winning this game.
Yeah, and it would put into question everything that Jonathan Gannon and Monty Osborne have built for 2+ years.
Right.
Now going into their third season, and it would lead this fan base, this podcast, this show to question everything. But we don't think that's going to happen. We gave our official predictions on Saturday's show here from Louisiana. We think the Cardinals are going to win handedly. How will they get here? It's time for the Bird Gang Blitz on a PHNX Cardinals pregame show, regular season style. Man, that feels good to say. Where do we start with? Well, you guessed it. It's the topic on everybody's mind as we enter 2025. It's the offense, specifically the big play offense. Shots, explosives, Drew Petzing, are you awake? Are you ready to take that next step with this evolution of the Arizona Cardinals passing game that in 2024 was fine? It was okay. It wasn't great. And given the fact that you've got Marvin Harrison Jr. in year 2, Trey McBride solidified, Kyler Murray, the big play offense, I think it's a mandate. We see it today.
Well, and there's been conversations, like there's been Easter eggs outside of Jonathan Gannon most recently in his press conference on Friday saying, we want to win. That's obviously priority number 1.
Yeah.
But I would like to see explosives in the passing game.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing, but for the most part, that's what he said. This was a team that was at the top of the league as far as explosives in the run game.
Yep.
That's not something that they fall short on. As far as where they were in the bottom half of the league, it was down the field passing. And you look at the personnel and you're like, Kyler Murray, his arm talent, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, who was so explosive last year, 1,100 yards receiving between the 20s. And then you've got, Michael Wilson, who we got a lot of confidence in. Zay Jones into the equation, Greg Dortch. Like, you're not short on talent. You should be able to push the ball downfield. Now it feels like here's an opportunity, game 1 for this team to maybe kind of show that they're developing and maturing that part of their offense.
Yeah, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. has to be showcased today. He has to see the kind of volume that a guy like Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. were gifted last year.
Sure.
Because those teams weren't any good, and they said, let's just get it to our playmakers. Hey, Drew Petzing, get it to your playmaker. Because I do think, even in a game where I think the Cardinals could win this game with Jacoby Brissett, I really do. I think they could win this game running the football 40 times. But I also think that if you put an emphasis on, okay, we're going to smooth out some edges here, and we're going to make sure our passing game is on point, as the Cardinals have a soft schedule to begin the year for the first 7 or 8 games. They don't play too many playoff teams from a year ago. It's a stark contrast from 2024. Maybe it's a good idea to get the engine kind of revved up and up and running so that in the second half, when it's like, oh, now we have to go to our playmakers, like last year, Seattle, twice, the LA Rams, right? The Minnesota Vikings on the road. The Cardinals' passing game wasn't up to snuff because they hadn't needed it.
Right.
And nobody thought that they could do it. Now it's like, okay, think back to when it clicked in New Orleans, when it clicked in week 2 against Carolina. Mm-hmm. These games, these reps matter from a passing game standpoint. It's why that, like, I've seen James Conner take over games. I know he can do that.
Right.
Can Drew Petzing lead a high-flying offense? TBD.
It's an opportunity to get your offense in a good spot against live reps. Like, you can sway me on, the preseason. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Ultimately, getting through training camp, like we heard from Jake Plummer last night, health. Be healthy. Relatively healthy. You've got that. So now can you incorporate shots, explosives, right, that the coach unfortunately took a lot of flap for in his kind of first public appearance on social media, being introduced as Cardinals head coach. But, this isn't – like if this game looks like the Bears, if this game looks like the Patriots of last year, which were 2 good wins for the Cardinals team, but you've got no real incorporation of big plays in the passing offense. It was just you're running the ball down those defenses' respective throats.
Yeah.
Like, I think people want to see more to have, an idea like the rest of the season of what it could be. Like, it needs to look like Jets. It needs to look like Miami. It needs to look like Rams.
Yeah.
As far as that passing attack looks like. With the Jets, Marv went up against DJ Reader. He caught a touchdown. Like, he was productive. Kyler Murray looked fantastic. He was efficient with the football. Only 2 incompletions against the Patriots. Like, at least you can make the case that the Patriots, they had Christian Gonzalez back then, an up-and-coming player. The Saints don't have that guy. Mm-hmm. You can't have Kool-Aid McKinstry in year 2 and say, hey, he looked good in his second season. It needs to be definitively Marvin Harrison Jr. looks great going into his second season.
No excuses. Again, I think we both expect Marv to have a robust game. I think we expect him to have a role that's greatly expanded upon from his rookie year. But we don't know how Drew Petzing operates when he puts that headset on and it's game day and he wants to go back to his bread and butter, which is the run game. So, again, shots, explosives. Next up, Sweaty J and the boys. This front 7 that I know will be utilized correctly. The Cardinals spent a robust amount of capital, both in free agency and the draft, to rebuild this front 7, Bo, beginning with Sweaty J, day 1 of free agency, then adding Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, then turning their attention to the draft. We don't get Walter Nolan yet, but he's coming. Jordan Birch, right? The ascension of Darius Robinson, quality role players like L.J. Collier, Dante Stills.
Yeah.
This front 7, night and day from a year ago.
It is. It really is. You finally, like, where you felt like you were devoid of talent. You were hard-pressed to find somebody that can make an impact. If you did, they were kind of the lone man in their respective rooms, whether it was the D-line room or the outside linebacker room. Now they have guys that you're bullish about, that you know can make an impact in a diverse amount of ways, like with Calais Campbell in the run game, or you've got a guy, in Dalvin Tomlinson who can cause and create pressure from his spot, interior defensive line, or Sweaty J who can do it as far as setting an edge or getting after opposing quarterback like he did on the biggest stage, the Super Bowl last February. So you've got players, and as you mentioned, Birch and Zaven Collins, and everybody has roles that I think they're more comfortably fit for now that they've added talent to the defensive front seven.
Baron Browning in year 2 with this team after being traded for at the deadline last year. He's had a good camp. Zaven Collins had his best camp, I think we both agree, under JG and company. And then Jordan Birch, the ultimate wild card. And then you include a guy in the front seven, Mack Wilson Sr., who is taking over for Kazir White, who's wearing that green dot, who I think is going to put up a crooked number in terms of linebacker statistics. Like, it's a violent unit. They've kept Calais Campbell and Josh Sweat mostly on ice this preseason, right? Yeah. They haven't played at all. Training camp has been relatively light because Calais is almost 100 years old, no disrespect, and Josh Sweat's been playing deep into February every year with the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Cardinals had a plan for them. I'm so bullish on this unit. I expect it to be dominant. And again, unlike the offense, we know what we're getting defensively. What about from the rookie class as we continue on here on the Bird Gang Blitz? No Walter Nolan yet, but it's a rookie showcase of sorts. The Cardinals are going to have at least one rookie defender start for them in Will Johnson. And then we had mentioned Jordan Birch. Let's keep on the subject, Bo, of the 47th overall pick. Yeah. Agent Zero, Sub-Zero, whatever you want to dub him today, making his NFL debut. Probably going to go up against the likes of Chris Olave. We will see. What's your expectation for Will Johnson, the standout from Michigan?
Well, I think we'll learn a little bit about Will Johnson, right? We talked to Baldy earlier this week. We've talked to people close to the team, and they really kind of want to know what Baldy said he wants to find out. Can he travel?
Yeah.
Can he be that guy that no matter who the number one is and what their skill set is, like if it's a fast receiver, it's a big receiver, like is Will Johnson going to get that assignment each and every week? We'll see. If Max Melton's on him, a guy like Olave, what's his main attribute? Speed, right? So maybe they think Max Melton, matches up a little bit better. But regardless, there's going to be a role for Will Johnson tomorrow. Now with the injury to Starling Thomas at the beginning of training camp, he's kind of thrust more into the flames. And we're going to find out, real quick, is he going to have to take his lumps, or is he going to be somebody that's going to transition, relatively nicely, from playing big-time college football to the NFL? It's case-by-case basis. Like there's Sauce Gardner, and then there's guys that need more seasoning. Like Patrick Peterson wasn't a great cover corner out of the gates. He was a guy that needed to kind of develop a little bit. But I think Will Johnson's got the makeup, the ability to hang week one, and especially against an opponent like the Saints come tomorrow today. I apologize.
We outlined on our preview show yesterday the fact that the Cardinals have not had a defensive touchdown in over a year. They didn't have one all of last year. And he's got as good of any to remedy that. He is exceptional with the ball in his hands. He's got a nose for the football. He had more interceptions, Bo, as you've noted, than touchdowns given up at the collegiate level, which is nuts. So the takeaway margin, which Baldy outlined on our show earlier this week, you need 25-plus to win the NFC West. That has to start today. Cardinals didn't force enough turnovers last year. That's a big reason why you bring in Will Johnson into the fold. Those struggles need to end. And speaking of struggles, as we conclude here on the Bird Gang Blitz, Week 1 struggles for Jonathan Gannon. Listen, he opened up his tenure with a gut job of a roster in 2023. Had a close loss at Washington. Last year he went up against perennial power Buffalo, had a lead in that game, fell short at the end. I don't buy a narrative that Gannon's team starts slow. I think it's been schedule and circumstantial. That being said, this is the year where roster's ready to go, schedule falls greatly in your favor. You've got your quarterback that you handpicked to continue on with Kyler Murray. No excuses. Like you have to start this season 1-0, and you have to start layering W's, as our guy Baldy said. Because, again, we know the meat of this schedule is in the second half, so you need to be going into your bye week with at least 5 or 6 dubs secure.
I think you need to do it with a little juice, right? I mean, you got to make it kind of definitive. You got to make it a message like, those saying that JG teams start slow, you're going to say, look, that's because of, circumstances that they were put in to tear down. And then, of course, a team going up against, at the time, year 2 of a rebuild against a team that was pretty much you could Sharpie in their AFC Championship game spot. So you need to say, hey, we're going in against the Saints. There aren't expectations. We have the expectations. We're going to play like that team. We're going to send the message like, don't overlook us.
Jonathan Gannon's team has done very well as a perennial favorite. Last year, outside of, I believe, the Carolina game, they took care of business in all the games they were favored in. And again, it wasn't something that's been common. They weren't favored, I think, in any game his first year. And so now we look ahead to year 3 with JG, and they're favored in large majority of their games the first 2 months of the year because they're playing the Titans of the world and the Colts, right? And a bad Carolina team next week and a terrible, maybe the worst team in the NFL here in New Orleans on a football Sunday. Last year, the Denver Broncos, right? We nitpick them on this show a lot. We're nitpicking the Niners this year because their schedule was bad. But they have to still win those games. The Broncos did that last year. The Cardinals need to do that this year. Win the games you're supposed to win. Go 500 against everybody else. Take care of business in your division. Guess what? You're going to be NFC West champs for the first time in 10 years. And again, I think Jonathan Gannon is the perfect team to lead this specific team into the future. But it starts right now. We're at the ultimate pivot point. If K1, JG, and Austin Ford get it done this year, everybody is extended, everybody's happy, and there's a runway. But if not, and we're sitting here and we're having more questions than answers at the end of the year, guess what? There's going to be a change of quarterback. Gannon and Austin Ford are going to go potentially into contract years in limbo. Nobody wants that. We want clarity as Cardinal fans.
Sure, and like people can make the case as far as Week 1 being the biggest fluke anomaly of the NFL season, but like you can't fall victim to that. Like when you're going up against the Saints, you can't be one of those teams that like we saw with the Bengals last year going against the Patriots, and you see costly errors and it just the final score. Patriots coming out of there with a dub. You can't suffer that kind of loss because, like you're saying, you're going to have to start to figure out what went wrong. What's wrong with it, this past week, and what's been wrong with it, since the bye week in 2024. You don't want to have those conversations because it delays what you want to focus on, and that's taking on Carolina the following week and then taking on San Francisco and starting to kind of maneuver yourself as what you see yourself as, and that's a team in contention in 2025.
Yeah, that contending needs to start today. We're going to turn things over to our guy Damon Dawg in just a second, but I want to remind everybody, rep with our friends at Rally House. We're going to be doing a live show from Rally House just a couple of days. We're going to be out there at the Glendale location. They've got premier goods. It's actually the week of the new rivalry jerseys.
That's right.
So
they
perfect time.
Thursday. So hopefully we'll have a couple of those rivalry jerseys to give out and during our appearance on Friday. Come join us in the Glendale location. That's September 12th. It's going to be awesome, leading you up into the Cardinals home opener on Sunday.
Yeah.
Rally House. Find your local Rally House location, rallyhouse.com, Glendale, Tempe, Mesa, here in the Valley.
Yeah, love our partners at Rally House. Love our partners at Bet365. It is the return of Tap That app. We've been doing it every year in some rendition since the initiation, the inaugural show here on PHNX Sports, PHNX Cardinals. We continue here in Week 1. Let's take a look at our tasty parlay of the week, Bo Brock. Arizona Cardinals. How about this? Plus 600. We're going to boost it with our friends at Bet365. Marvin Harrison Jr., anytime touchdown, which I told you yesterday, feels like free money. That to me feels like at the end of the day, they are going to find a way to get Marv into the end zone, and I'm doubling down. I'm going Marv over 56.5 yards receiving. You like that?
I do like that. I especially like the receiving yards. The touchdown scorer, I do like that. I love James Conner.
Yeah.
Not throwing it back. My God, that's a four-letter word around here. It was Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
Yeah, I do like this overall, though. I think there's a good chance you could cash this.
Then you've got, of course, we're teasing the spread. This could be the kiss of death, but all three of us, Noah, me, you, Bo, we picked the Cardinals to win by at least 10 points. So I said, let's tease it up. Cardinals already a robust favorite at 6.5 at the recording of this. 10 plus Marv, big day. We think it's happening. Plus 600. Do it with our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. Download the Bet365 app today. Again, deposit $10. Place a $5 bet. You're getting $200 in bonus bets. For up to the minute inactives, we're going to throw it over to our guy Damon Dawg back in Glendale. Excuse me, not in Glendale, in Phoenix, in studio. He's going to be breaking down the inactives and your super chats. Damon, my guy, take it away.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to downtown Phoenix. We are fired up to be getting started on this Week 1 Cardinals season. Woo! And it's good to be here with all the people. I couldn't miss a little PHNX Cardinals Week 1 action with all the folks. Drop in the chat what you guys think your score prediction will be for Saints versus Cardinals. And Shane, should we get started on some of these super chats here, my guy?
Yeah, let's do it. You got 2 super chats. If you want to donate to Big Brothers Big Sisters, there's also a donate button. We are having our Big Brothers Big Sisters month of giving. We'll start with Chaz. Howdy, guys. Been a while. Relax. Sweat 3 sacks. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what that bet is on Bet365 for Josh Sweat to get 3 sacks like it's the Super Bowl. Did he get 3 sacks in the Super Bowl? He got close to it. It felt like
he was the best player in the game.
Felt like he got 1,000,000 sacks in the Super Bowl. But yeah, let's see Josh Sweat get out there and really, kind of go crazy in his debut. That would be unbelievable. Darth Vader 199. We thank you so much. Darth Vader says, when do we get our Sweaty J t-shirts? Man, I've been asking that same question to myself every day. Sweaty J and the boys hanging out the side of a Prius. I mean, is there anything like that, Shane? Could be the greatest shirt, I think, in All-City history. Yeah. Bo Brock with update of the century, mind blown. Kyler Murray is, in fact, playing football today.
I always love the NFL disclosing the injury report, like, fully. Because obviously you have to, but, like, Kyler's sick. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the injury report.
Yeah.
He's sick.
Yeah, he has the snivels.
Both saying that he looked like himself in warm-ups. We love to hear that.
Good to hear. And as Johnny said, like, I think if Jacoby Brissett was to play this game and the Cardinals are to be the team that they expect themselves to be in 2025, Jacoby Brissett has to be able to win this game as well. So it really shouldn't even come down to Kyler Murray and is he in his tip-top shape, but it's good to hear that QB1 is looking pretty solid out there. I'm seeing some score predictions here in the chat. Z Warlock 27-10, Dylan Richards 26-10, Johnny Venerable 28-17, Ray Fram 35-9, Pedro Alcala, my guy 24-10. Keep dropping those score predictions here in the chat. Shane, we actually have something really fun that we have to announce here at PHNX Sports. We are opening a supporters club here on YouTube. So basically how it works, it's not going to be like another paywall behind like your typical sports media content, none of the above. It's just like a form of getting some extra content and supporting PHNX Sports. You can become a supporters club member. You get like an emoji badge next to your name. I believe I've heard there's some form of a Johnny Venerable live from Studio K emoji that you can get next to your name. And if you get in on the supporters club early, Shane, you can get almost like a founding member badge.
Yep.
That will, show all the people that, you've been here since day one. So like I said, if you want to just help show us some extra support here at PHNX Sports, you already send in the super chats. This is just another way of going ahead and supporting us. And you get, a little bit of a cool badge of honor.
It's going to be
in its place.
It's going to be so fun to see all of the live emojis spamming in the chat. $5 a month to join the supporters club. If you're on mobile, go to desktop. And the join button for desktop users is next to the subscribe button. Very easy to navigate and find. Not only do you get that badge next to your name, but you also get at the start 4 custom emojis with more rolling out each month, basically. So that should be very exciting. Right now we have 4. We have an HTL one. We have a live one. We have a flaming W for when when you get a big dub like they should today in the Big Easy. And I believe the other one is an aligned Phoenix Suns one.
We got to get what Boom says here in the chat, like, with his avatar. We got to get Johnny Venerable.
We got to get one of those.
Doing the boom as one of the
chat.
The
I promise, I will fight for one of those.
Yeah, this is gonna be so much fun. It's like I said, it's not like a situation where you're gonna be missing out on what PHNX Cardinals or what PHNX Sports is gonna be up to if you don't go ahead and get this supporters club, membership, but. Again, it's if you're sending in super chats, it's $5 a month, like Shane said, for the price of a Starbucks cup of coffee, less than a Starbucks cup of coffee these days. You could support your favorite company here, your favorite program, PHNX Cardinals, and get some really cool badges in the process. But yeah, we're really excited about doing that. We're really excited about our Big Brothers, Big Sisters month that we're having here at All-City Network. Please donate. That link if you're on desktop, I believe like right to the right
it's
where the
it's-
live chat is. And
Yep.
then if you're on your mobile phone, it should be kind of down below. So if you want to help donate to Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, please do so. We would really appreciate it. Shane, do you have any final score predictions for Saints versus Cardinals?
I think the Cardinals win 31-10 in a snoozer in the Big Easy in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Big performance from Kyler Murray, flu game, if you will. For those of you who don't know, we are doing a watch along right after this, so make sure to join us for that. Do we want to leave them off with the inactives?
Yeah, let's do it. I will go ahead and try to.
I got them pulled up.
Oh, you got them pulled up?
Cardinals, obviously, Keichel Clark, Bam Knight, Elijah Jones, Xavier Thomas, and Will Hernandez are inactive. And for the Saints, Trey Palmer, Jordan Howden, Trevor Penning, Xavier Truss, Vernon Broughton, Christian Boyd, and Chase Young are all inactive.
I won't go too long on this, but it is just crazy, Shane, looking at the inactives list this year versus, say, the past 2 seasons, where it's like, just look at the difference in talent that is just not suiting up today. Will Hernandez, who's a starting caliber guard. Xavier Thomas, 5th round pick just a season ago and was a decent player. Keichel Clark, played some meaningful snaps for this team and looked decent doing so. Like, those were guys that were starters in the past. And this talent level of this team is just drastically different than the previous 2 seasons under Jonathan Gannon. Excited to see it. I'm going to go with 28-7. Cardinals get a big-time easy W in the Big Easy. But, Shane, that's going to do it for our pregame show. As you mentioned, we are going to be live right after this on our watch-along. We're just going to be hanging out, watching some ball,
Vibes.
maybe talking about all of our bets and whether or not they're winning or losing. They're all going to win.
Every single one is going to win. I don't
and-
think it's going to be close.
No, it's not going to be close. And if you guys want to hang out with us, if you're at home watching football, tune into the watch along. We'll be hanging out. And we'll be live for a halftime show, for a postgame show, per usual on PHNX Cardinals. Stay tuned. Until then, follow me at Damon Dawg. Shane, they can follow you at Shane Deef.
Yes, sir.
And, of course, you can follow us at PHNX_Cardinals. We'll see you on the watch along. We'll see you on the halftime show. We'll see you on the postgame show. Thanks for watching PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.